Hello, Marcia Ben from IslandNet here, and I am here to tell you about what is a firewall. By the way, if you have not already done so, remember that this is actually a special partnership with Think Premium JA, so I will be talking more about my IT side from my partnership with IslandNet. And of course, the traditional videos, you will definitely still get that from, this platform as normal. So, don't be alarmed if you see me consistently speaking IT. It's okay. All right. But just to give you a quick bit, firewalls is really an application or an entire computer, like an internet gateway server that controls access to the network, and it also monitors the flow of network traffic. So, for instance, the firewall would ensure that different devices or different applications, let's say like a cloud application like QuickBooks or like I don't know, like QuickBooks, Microsoft 360, Zoom, other cloud-based applications that, like, let's say, like a pharmacy might use, or like I don't know, like a hospital or something might use, so that it consistently has access to the needed bandwidth in order for it to function all the time. So, for example, voice over internet, you need to have at least 40 megs of reliable and most likely redundant internet in order for it to function effectively. So, firewall, an application or an entire computer, because you do have entire computers that can be repurposed into a firewall. Like, for example, like a computer that uses an internet gateway server application, for instance, that can be turned into a firewall to control access to the network. So, different devices access the network through permissions granted by a firewall. And firewalls actually serve different purposes, but the whole point of the firewall is to prevent unauthorized access into a computer network. That's really what it is. And it also has several benefits, though, that can make it very useful for your business that the average person may not really be taking into consideration. But the main or primary benefit of a firewall is that on everybody device or person can enter it without permission being granted by the firewall. So, and you have different types of firewalls as well. But one of the main benefits that you can expect from firewalls is that application control. And this can come from bandwidth prioritization. So certain applications get the set amount of bandwidth that it needs to operate every time, all the time it's being used on that network. And this also helps as well with application traffic. So it really allows the administrator, for instance, to have detailed monitoring and management of the network traffic to ensure that specific applications are able to be run and not able to be run on the network. So, for example, if you click a strange link, like, here's a cybersecurity tip: don't click strange links that come from your email if you don't recognize the sender, or if they don't look normal. So, for example, the bank wouldn't send you a link to your email telling you to enter your bank account information like that. A good cybersecurity practice would be to reach out to the bank to verify. All right? But let's say you don't and you click on the link. The firewall would actually be one of the first lines of defense that would pick up the application or the person, let's say a security operations center person like what IslandNet has, noticing that the application is being run and either stops it or immediately alerts the user if they don't stop it. So that would be something. But usually the firewall would be that first line of defense that would block it. And if the firewall isn't able to block it, that's where the security operations center personnel would come in. So that's just one example, right? Another thing is that the firewall itself acts as protection. So it would actually scan and monitor incoming and outgoing traffic. So that way, like viruses, malware, phishing attacks, spam, anything that's attempting to gain unauthorized access to the network is blocked. So I don't know if you notice, but sometimes you might send email to a company and the firewall just keeps rejecting it. Like it will just keep saying that, mail was undeliverable. So that's something to notice as well. Firewalls also help with SSL inspection. And what SSL inspection is, and the average person might not know this, no judgment, but it's a security compliance or security compute rating. Sorry, it's a security compute rating. And it's really a benchmark standard that compares the network and the security performance to ensure that it's within standard. And Fortinet firewalls, which Ethernet offers, actually comes with the SSL. So that's something that is really done to really just secure traffic, and it uses encryption. So like information going across the network is encrypted. So even if it's intercepted by an unauthorized user, they can't necessarily do anything with it. So let's say somebody manages to have an application, which you have these cyber attackers, they're very creative these days. They put in something on your network, like say a Trojan or whatever, to try and intercept the flow of information around the network. Let's say you're a bank and they try and do that. The firewall, because of the SSL, would actually block it, or at least red flag it, because the information will be now encrypted. So even if they intercept it, they couldn't really do anything with the information. It's like basically gibberish. Red flag wasn't the best term to use, but you get the idea. It's really making the information useless to the person who's intercepting information. So security is another benefit as well that you get from a firewall, because you have the threat protection. So like businesses, for example, you would benefit from that, because ransomware is a real thing. And imagine somebody shutting down your network and taking your information away from you. You know, having to pay millions of dollars and be shut down, like many of the banks, many of the hospitals, many companies like Grubhub, for instance, being shut down due to a ransomware attack or somebody leaking information to millions of unsuspecting users online. That's a real thing. So that's another benefit that you can get from having a firewall, is that the threat protection is there. So again, persons who are not authorized to have access to your network would not or should not be able to have access to it. Now, remember, these things are designed by man, so things can fail, which is why you always need to have somebody consistently updating your firewall. And that's gonna be a next video, when to know to update your firewall. Yeah, but having like an island net that has a security operation center in place to monitor things like that would actually upgrade your firewall, to ensure that it's consistently working, change anything that needs to be changed, configure anything that needs to be configured, so your IT team doesn't have to deal with all that. Isn't that refreshing? You get to focus on the dollars and cents. And I mean, you're in business, so if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, right? And we focus on the business of keeping you in business by ensuring that your information is protected. Plus, firewalls also help with the antivirus as well. So it's good to have your antivirus software and have it work in conjunction with your firewall. Just like how it's good to get let's say, for example, let's use a flu shot, right? Let's say you're somebody that whenever you get the flu, you always get like a sinus infection afterwards. It's always good to take the flu shot. So imagine the flu shot as an antivirus software, but also be working on boosting your immune system by eating the right fruits and vegetables, managing your diet, exercising, drinking water, and getting plenty of rest. Imagine your firewall being all of the latter things I mentioned, like the diet, exercise, rest, fruits, vegetables, all of that good stuff. Yeah, I think that's the simplest way I can explain that. Another thing as well that firewalls help to do is that they filter, which means that users can't really get onto specific websites when they're within that network. So for example, you notice that some companies, they block like Facebook and Instagram, for example. So you can't be on their Wi-Fi network and get onto Instagram or get onto TikTok. Firewalls help with that level of filtering. So if you really want to ensure that your employees are being productive, you may want to think about getting a firewall, or think about configuring it so that that filtering application set up, because just because you have a firewall, that doesn't mean that all firewalls are created equal, and it doesn't mean that that version of the firewall that you have is effective enough to meet your growing business needs. Another thing as well that firewalls also help to do, last but not least, it helps to monitor and analyze network traffic. So you are able to know, see what's going on in your network. You can also set up certain administrative tasks, and you can quickly see like how persons are using the internet on your network. What are they doing? If there's an intruder coming in, what are they doing? Block them if needed, so at least you can have a safe business, right? So I do hope this helps. Just to recap, because listen, I did a bag of talking. Several benefits from having a firewall in place for your business is application control. One of that benefit could be bandwidth prioritization, for example, firewall protection, of course, to block out unauthorized access, SSL inspection to ensure that information flowing across your network is encrypted, the security side of things to ensure that your business is safeguarded from persons trying to hack into your network, let's say through internet access or whatever it is, working in conjunction with your antivirus to boost up your antivirus protection and even offer it as well depending on the firewall that you're using. There's nothing wrong with having multiple antiviruses as long as your device can manage it. Filtering to ensure that certain websites or activities cannot be done on the network. This can be used to help boost productivity or prevent wastage of resources. And last but not least, monitoring and facilitating key administrative tasks. I do hope this helps, and if this information added value to you, like, share, comment, subscribe, and of course, comment down below. I'd love to hear you have this in your comments. In the comments, I want you to write, "My business is protected." All right, and I hope this helps. Hope you have a wonderful day. Take care, and remember to never stop dreaming. Take care. Bye bye.